Hello, welcome to the Healthy Alternatives podcast. I am Dr. Christine Sauer with DocChristine.com. Today's show is a recording of my radio show of the same name. Enjoy! Good afternoon, this is Dr. Christine Sauer, your host of the show Healthy Alternatives, here on 97.5 CIOE FM with live stream on communityradio.ca every Thursday at 12 noon Atlantic Standard Time. Thanks for tuning in today. In this show, I will talk, mostly with guests, about all aspects of health, healthcare and wellness, from conventional to alternative and everything in between. My mission for this radio show is to help change people's lives for the better by informing them about different options to get and stay healthy and well so they can choose for themselves which option might work in their case. And if you feel you are stuck in a dark place, I want to tell you, don't give up. There is a light at the end of the tunnel for you too. So today I'm extremely pleased to be with Andrea Caprio. She joins us from Portugal and she is an emotional eating expert and weight loss coach. Thanks for being on the show, Andrea.
Thanks so much, Dr. Christine. I'm great and very happy to be here.
I am very happy to have you on. Now tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and how you got into being a weight loss coach and an emotional eating expert.
Right. My way is long. I've traveled a lot in my life like you. I'm from Germany and I lived in many countries, including Miami. And nowadays I'm in Portugal, beautiful Portugal here. And I came actually into nutrition and helping people to overcome weight issues and emotional eating issues through my own story. I was in completely different business before. And by realizing actually how much my own health was better and improved, my stress levels, my emotional levels improved by eating the right food, I became curious and I wanted really, like you a little bit, Christine, I wanted to help other people to achieve the same as I have been achieved.
Now, what did you do before you went into emotional eating expertise?
That's a curious question.
Yes.
I was in recruitment, actually. I was an executive search specialist, and I've been a lot in corporate before, and I've had always a very stressful and very busy life. And eventually I realized, health takes its toll, and I had to look after my own health. You can do only that much stress and that much damage to your own body, and eventually you realize you have to do something. And I really realized that food is a big thing, but that helped me. But it's a total thing of lifestyle and emotional health and spiritual health. They all come together to really overcome the issues I had.
And that is so very true. And I know that from my own experience that when I'm stressed, when I'm bored, when I'm lonely, I want to reach for a chocolate bar. I want to reach for something sweet. I'm a sweet craver. Did you at some point were an emotional eater yourself?
I was, yes. And the interesting thing is I didn't realize because I thought, I was actually eating quite healthy. And, I did include some fruit and vegetable in my food. I didn't eat in fast food all the time. So I really thought I was eating healthy until I came across, I think it was an article about sugar, and I'm really, really on a wall with sugar nowadays because sugar is everywhere and you don't realize actually where it is. Just one of the skills I'm teaching my clients is how to read labels and realizing what names the producers, the food manufacturers actually use for sugar to hide it in the food to make people addicted to it. And when I realized how much sugar I had in my food, and it was a bit of sugar in the coffee, and it was of course added sugar to the cornflakes or whatever it was, and I added all the sugar together, I realized that I was addicted. And then removing it was not easy. And initially, I really struggled to remove the sugar out of my life. It took quite some time. But when I did, my system recovered and I felt really so much better.
It is really tough. And I always say, and that study with the mice that had the the rats really that they did, that had the choice between sugar water and a cocaine solution. And they chose the sugar water because it lights up the same areas in the brain as cocaine. So it's even worse than cocaine. And yes, we all get addicted. And I always find it weird when I look on a label like you do, and then we see stuff like concentrated fruit juice. Now, that sounds healthy, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it, now I know what I know. And I must say, I wish I knew that before. I have children. They're nowadays adult. But I've definitely given them too much sugar as well. And that's why today I really love helping people and women especially to be able to find, the difference. And like you said earlier, the sugar is far more addictive than drugs. I've actually written an article about that. I've done some studies, and researched a little bit. It's amazing, like you said. And I love your quiz, by the way, about how sugar is in our life and all that. So it's just everywhere, and it's very difficult to escape. And of course, we come home in the evenings, we're a bit tired, we're a bit stressed, and then very easy we can let ourselves go. And today, I'm still eating chocolate from time to time. But I choose, really dark chocolate without any sugar, and I eat only one piece, not the full bar or even 2 bars, which I might have done before, and which so many of my clients actually do.
And I find that sometimes for myself hard when I am stressed out and I have a chocolate bar in the house and it's milk chocolate. I can't leave it alone. So I know I'm addicted to it, because I'm thinking so much of it that I want it right now and I can't stay it. So I say to my husband, put it away where I can't find it. I find it is not the same with really dark chocolate. I can stop after one piece and just enjoy the one. That's why, like you, I choose it. So tell us a little bit. It's so important that we educate consumers through mediums like the radio or podcasts, how addictive sugar is. How did you notice that you were addicted to it, and how did you get out of your emotional eating phase?
I actually noticed it when I started eating healthy. Before becoming a nutrition coach, I signed up for a cleanse. It was a 21-day cleanse, like a detox. It's very similar to the 21-day detox now I'm actually giving my clients. And I ate over 21 days really super healthy food. I cut all things like processed food, sugar, gluten, dairy, even coffee and alcohol, because in all these foods are substances in that make us addicted. And I mean, it's not only the sugar, it's of course also the pizza and the pasta, which is broken down by our body to simple sugar. That's why it's sort of almost the same. But also very often substances like gluten or dairy, which our body has difficulties to digest, are in fact something our body is addicted to. Usually when somebody craves a food, usually they're actually intolerant to that food. And I found that very interesting. And when I realized that myself, it was just then of slowly changing my system to eating healthier. And today I learned, of course, that the gut bacteria, the microbiome is very important, of course. And you have the good bacteria and you have the bad bacteria. And the bad gut bacteria feeds off sugar and carbs and all that. Now, if you have too much of that, the bad bacteria gets more and more and more. And they feed more of that and they want more. So the idea is actually reducing the bad bacteria and improving the size of the good bacteria in your gut. And then you're actually craving less.
And it is so important. And you probably know the books by Julia Ross, how she addresses cravings with amino acid. And I find them very effective too. And I'll be happy to hear more about how you do it with your clients, your sacred secrets to end emotional eating in the second half. And I want to leave the listeners hanging here a little bit with the knowledge that we will talk about your 5 sacred secrets to end emotional eating so everybody can do it, and how to actually do it. So like you done it, so they don't crave it anymore every day, and that's so important. So
absolutely, I would love to share that with you.
And I'm looking forward to very much to that, and a little bit about how the gut influences our brain, and it does it in big, big ways. And this brings us to the end of the first half of today's broadcast here on 97.5 CIOE FM Community Radio. Please tune in after the commercial break for more about emotional eating and weight gain or loss with Andrea Caprio. Hello and welcome back to Healthy Alternatives here on 97.5 CIOE FM or on the web at communityradio.ca. I'm your host, Dr. Christine Sauer, and today I'm talking with Andrea Caprio, emotional eating expert and weight loss coach. So in the first half, Andrea, we talked a little bit about your emotional eating phase, how you overcame it, and general rules how to eat better. Now, I would really like you to go a little bit deeper in what would you recommend to especially a working, like a businesswoman who is an emotional eater, and what secrets have you discovered in your years of working with other business women?
It's a great question, Christine. Now, I have put together the 5 sacred secrets of overcoming emotional eating, because I found over the time working with people is that it's never only one thing. I mean, we spoke earlier about one thing is sugar, and of course that is, from a physical and biochemical way, a very big thing, but there's so many other components as well, because it's not so easy just to say, stop sugar and eat only healthy. Most people fail. And that's what I see over and over when clients come and see me. They have tried diet after diet. They have tried a nutritionist. They've tried this and that method. And nothing really works because they have not looked holistically on their issues.
The whole person, yes, I agree.
And they have not looked at the real root causes, because it's never only one root cause. So what I like to do is when starting to work with clients, and what helped me as well, by the way, is really that I have 5 big points I'm looking at. So number 1, and that's my sacred secret, number 1 is to clarify your direction. Now, of course, we all have goals, and very often it's like a goal like, I want to eat healthier, or I want to lose weight. But it doesn't happen, because when you say something like that, the goal is not really precise, right?
Right.
So first of all, it's, of course, to make it really precise. How much pounds do I want to lose? What do I want really to achieve with this? So find out your bigger why. So that's a help with the clients, when we go into that, is really find the bigger why. Let's say I want to lose some weight, so I'm fitter and I can play with my grandchildren.
Now that's a better reason than saying I want to lose weight because my doctor says so.
Absolutely, because when your doctor says so, why should you do it, So, I really work with my clients, go really into the bigger why, and something that's really measurable. So, you want to say, okay, I have this favorite pair of jeans and I want to fit in because I want to look sexy and perhaps, attract a partner or whatever it is, some little things like that is as well is important somehow. So that's the sacred secret number 1.
All right. Now
sacred secret number 2 is strategize your actions. And that is really, once we are clear on the goals and we know really what we are working with, what we want to achieve and what keeps us going, actually, we need to strategize those. Now, when working with my clients, I'm always looking really deeper. I have a very thorough health assessment form, which I start working with them to really find out what are the root causes. And once we know that, then we can kind of break it down in step by step to address those root causes and have really the bigger picture, 3 months, 6 months to work towards our goal, but then break it down in small achievable steps. And for there is really one top tip I have is make them super small. own. So let's say you want to lose weight and you want to add some more movement into your day-to-day life. Now, just saying, okay, I go every day, run 1.5 hours and do that 7 days out of 7, unless you are a marathon expert or so, you're most likely failing, right?
Of course, I fail just by the idea because I won't start. It's just too much. It's overwhelmed me.
Absolutely. So now, but if I tell you, to take every day, or perhaps even not every day, but to start with 1 time per week and go for a 5-minute walk, and you are, really ready to do that, then you would probably do that, right?
Right. And maybe even get a little dog that helps you walk.
And then it's rather important to start implementing those 5 minutes every day before increasing the amount of time you spend. Same for, let's say you want to add a meditation practice. People always think you have to sit like 1 hour and do the Om. And of course, it's a little bit boring to do so unless you're experienced in it. And there again, start with 1 minute of meditation practice, but make it every day and then slowly increase the times. Number 3 is to upgrade your skills. And there I mentioned already earlier when we spoke about sugar, one thing is so important is label reading or meal plans. These are little things I'm teaching my clients, and that makes really a difference where you can sustain those habits. And it's just really, really important to understand also what's important for your body. Today we are speaking about so many different diets. One day it's the ketogenic diet, tomorrow it's the paleo diet, and it goes on and on and on. And everybody says, oh, that's the best thing. But it might be good for one person, but it might not be good for you.
Exactly. Bio-individual diets. That's what I like too. Excellent. Love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know we think very similar in our approach. And, I really work on a personalized protocol with my clients. And even, sometimes it might be that, when you're in your 20s, something really worked well, but when you're in your 50s, it doesn't.
Right.
We change.
Now, what's point 4?
All righty. That's optimize the environment. And we mentioned already a little bit earlier, when your husband has the milk chocolate at home, of course you're going to eat it, right? But if it's hidden away in the top cupboard and you have perhaps some healthier options right in front of you in your fridge or so, then you're more likely to eat it.
Unless you're so addicted that you go for the high cupboard, but then you have to tell your husband, put it somewhere where I can't find it.
Absolutely.
He has a big garage to hide it, so I don't go looking in his garage.
Absolutely, or not get it, or, whatever it is. And on the other hand, make those healthy habits easier. For example, if you want to start running, put your gym shoes, your trainers, your sneakers out in the evening and have everything ready. So in the morning you get up, you just have to put it on and you can go out running.
I love that. It's the little things that make all the difference added up.
Absolutely. And then the last point, number 5, and that's probably my favorite one, that's where I go the deepest with my clients, is to master your psychology. And that's really all about fears and limiting beliefs that we have in our lives. And they often come from our childhood or from earlier trauma or so, where we just believe we are not able to, we are not worthy, we're not lovable. And then, of course, we jeopardize our own success. And we procrastinate. And sometimes, by the way, it's also the fear of success. It's not only the fear of failure.
I find sometimes that people that have been sexually abused as a child then need that bolster of fat around them to feel that they look unattractive, so they don't attract men. And unless that trauma is resolved, they won't lose weight.
You're absolutely right. I have this perfect sample of one client who had that during her several times during her childhood, and she put on 400. She was at 498 pounds, and we had to work on accepting forgiveness and things like that for her to be able to move on, actually.
Amazing.
Because absolutely, like you said, she has put that on in the belief of making herself ugly. She was a beautiful woman, by the way. But in her mind, she was stuck in those years because at that time it might have served her. But of course, today it doesn't serve her anymore.
And it's so important that we emphasize that to the public, that they know that those perpetrators do damage for people's lives, not just for the moment. And it's so important to keep our children and as many children as we can safe from that. Thank you so much for that. Now, before we close, I would really like you to tell people how they can get in touch for you and get all your amazing resources and maybe even take your cleanse.
Right. Okay, so I have, you can find me quite easily online. My company is called Wellness Methods. And so you can find me with that handle on Facebook, Instagram. I have also the website, which is wellnessmethods.com. And on there, you find all my courses. You can find my 21-day transformational nutrition cleanse there as well, plus other ways of working with me, either one-on-one, or I also have recently put out a very nice group coaching program to help my clients to overcome emotional eating. But I have also 2 really nice gifts for you out there if you're listening. And that is one, my emotional stress eating formula, which really gives you practical tips to overcome emotional stress eating. And there you can go to wellnessmethods.com/emotional stress eating. And I also have my an application for a free session with me. Now that obviously I only have a few places remaining. So if you're listening to that, you want to go on that right now because the space will fill up quite quickly. And that's a Beat Emotional Eating free consultation with me. It's worth normally $267, and I offer that free for you guys until the space closes up, and then there will be a wait list. And you can apply for that on wellnessmethods.com/be free.
That is so wonderful.
What I'm having for you guys.
Thank you so very much. And it was a real pleasure to have you on the show, Andrea, and to tap a little bit in your wealth of knowledge and experience. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dr. Christine.
And this brings me to the end of today's show. And please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions, thoughts, comments, or suggestions. If you'd like to contact Andrea, the website with her guest blog, which I recommend to read, with the podcast, so you can listen to it at any time, will be on my website. You can contact me. My email here is christine@communityradio.ca, or you can contact me through my website, docchristine.com. And I'm always grateful for any feedback. I also want to extend a special thank you to today's producer, Ryan Pulsifer. Thanks, Ryan. You made it happen. You might not know this, but this is a volunteer-run non-profit radio station. And we even have an art gallery. If you're local and you'd like to drop in, we are at 11 Glendale Avenue, Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia. Thank you all for listening to Healthy Alternatives. I'm your host, Dr. Christine Sauer. Tune in next Thursday at noon on 97.5 CIOE FM Community Radio with live stream on communityradio.ca for the next episode. Goodbye and have a great day.